I ask my colleagues to join me today in honoring. We use microphones here, don't we? That's right. Excuse me, Mr. President. Let me start again. I ask my colleagues to join me in honoring and thanking the heroic individuals who've served our country. Every year in Veterans Day, just a couple of days ago, we come together as Ohioans, Oregonians, and New Mexicans and Americans generally to remember with deep respect and gratitude all that our veterans have done for our country. Veterans and their families have sacrificed so much to keep us safe. They put their lives on the line to protect us. So often, veterans don't speak about their service. My dad was a World War II veteran. He rarely talked about it. It was pretty typical of that generation, not so different from Vietnam vets, many of whom suffered from Agent Orange, or from Iraqi or Afghan war vets. They don't brag, they don't ask for recognition, but they've earned it. So we pay tribute to all who serve and all who have served. We must remember that we owe veterans and their families more than just a thank you on Labor Day or on Veterans Day. We owe them what they have earned. Health care benefits, education opportunities, taking care of our veterans is a cost of going to war. Now, I'm going to talk about the PACT Act in a moment. Senator Merkley and I were just talking about it, the long overdue step we took to pass the PACT Act. A number of our more conservative colleagues said it costs too much. They never say it costs too much to send people to war. It only costs too much to take care of the men and women who have served us in providing health care at the CBOC in Mansfield or the VA in Dayton or the VA in Cleveland. We took this year a long overdue step to pass the PACT Act. We secured the single most comprehensive benefit expansion for veterans in our nation's history. Some of you in this body remember with Agent Orange in the beginning, to get Agent Orange benefits, you had to prove that you got sick because of the exposure to Agent Orange. And some veterans have to hire lawyers. It just didn't make sense. Well, we learned the lessons from Agent Orange and the PACT Act. When President Biden signed this bill, we delineated 23 illnesses, mostly bronchial and cancers, bronchial illnesses and cancers. And if you, as a veteran who served in Iraq or Afghanistan or in some other theaters, if you had one of those illnesses, you could get treatment at the Zanesville CBOC or the Chillicothe VA or the Cincinnati VA. It means now that post-9/11 combat veterans are now eligible for this VA care. It means we also expanded coverage for veterans exposed to Agent Orange and for those exposed to burn pits and other toxins. It means if you're exposed to toxins while serving your country, you get the benefits you've earned, period, no exceptions. We couldn't have done it without the lessons of Agent Orange and the activism of our service members and families. I've spent much of the last 6 weeks doing roundtables of 6, 8, 10, a dozen veterans in rural communities and cities alike in my state. And most of them weren't yet aware of what this bill meant. It does mean that if they have any one of these illnesses and they were exposed to these burn pits, these football field size burn pits that burn everything, industrial waste to tires to computers to human waste to who knows what. If they were exposed, then they got the help that they have earned. I encourage all veterans to go to va.gov/PACT, P-A-C-T, to find out more about the law and see what benefits you may be eligible for. This is just the start of veterans finally getting the help of a grateful nation. This bill came to my attention about 5 years ago. This problem came to my attention. A woman from Sandusky, Ohio, told me about her son-in-law who was healthy, a distance runner until about a year earlier. And he was diagnosed with bronchial illness and then a cancer, a rare cancer, but a cancer that was recognizable to VA doctors. He has since passed away. His name is Heath Robinson. We named this bill that Senator Tester worked so hard on and Senator Moran, a Republican and a Democrat, worked so hard on to make sure it was enacted into law. Again, I urge veterans to go to va.gov/PACT to find out more about the law. Earlier this month, VA and the Department of Housing and Urban Development announced an 11% drop in veterans' homelessness over the last 2 years, in part because of the work of this new governor, new president, in this new Senate, and the work we're doing with the VA. It's progress. We have more work to do. I'll continue to travel across Ohio to hold roundtables with veterans to talk about the PACT Act. I'm going to keep talking to veterans around the state. With my colleagues in the Senate and with members of the Veterans Affairs Committee, we'll continue fighting so every veteran has the benefits they've deserved. We'll never forget the debt we owe. We're humbled by their commitment to service. And you can't talk about veterans without thanking the military families, the families of Heath Robinson, the family of Heath Robinson, who fought to make sure he got those benefits, and his legacy, in spite of his tragic death, his legacy of helping veterans will move on. It was the county veteran service officers. Ohio's lucky, most states don't have this. We have a veteran service organization commission in every one of the 88 counties, so that at least 2 employees, and in some cases 50 in the largest counties, that take care of veterans who have all kinds of issues and problems. So our veteran service officers, and then all the veteran service organizations like the VFW and the DAV and the American Legion and the Polish American Veterans and so many others who work every day to support veterans and their families. We honor their sacrifice. This bill happened because of the activism of veterans' families, because of the veteran service organizations, and this body recommits, as Senator Merkley does, I know, and the presiding officer recommit to fighting for veterans, fighting for military families. On behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your service.